This is an ABC News.
Yeah.
This is an ABC News special report.
Shooting at the Correspondents.
We're coming on the air because there was an incident at the White House Correspondents' dinner in
live
Washington,
right
D.C.
What up, everybody? Like and subscribe.
Hilton, attended by thousands of journalists and
Don't touch
dignitaries.
But it looks good.
And
11
President
people?
Trump. We're hearing reports that there were loud
fucking
noises
shooting.
and a bang before the
There's
room
something.
was evacuated. I
He's
want to
about-
bring
he's
in
about
White
to
House
speak.
Chief
I
Correspondent
wanna get
Mary
it live.
Wilson with the latest. Mary, what are you hearing?
What's up, everybody? Like and subscribe.
Currently standing inside a very packed ballroom at the Hilton. The White House Correspondents Association dinner had just gotten underway.
Thank you. Double tap that screen, guys. I appreciate it.
From the president, who
See
was
what the
up on
fuck happened.
dais. Everyone had just been welcomed, was starting their
21 people in here. Hey, let me bust it open and pack a Pokemon card so I can get a hit. Well, there's crazy shit going on in the world. Got some perfect order right here. Got some perfect order for some perfect disorder going on here. Come on.
The president surrounded and immediately taken off of the stage. We saw Secret Service rushing in what appeared to be full tactical gear, guns drawn, full helmets on, swarming the room.
What is happening? Nothing.
Thousands of people,
No worries.
journalists, members of the cabinet.
Oh, looks like he's about to speak.
Everyone drops to the floor
Oh
instantly.
shit.
All of a
This is
sudden,
wild.
moments before had been completely.
What's wrong with my phone right now?
Was silent except for the sound of the Secret Service rushing around.
Thanks for the love emojis, guys. Appreciate it. Hit that like and subscribe. Love you guys. Thank you.
Everyone was immediately hit the floor.
This is wild.
I looked up and saw the Secret Service then escorting out key members of the cabinet. Defense Secretary,
You talk what you want. Don't
Secretary
say anything
Robert F.
fucked up.
Kennedy Jr. I saw them escorting out Secretary Marco Rubio right next to me. You can see members of the Secret
This is
Service
wild, bro.
jumping
Holy
from
shit.
chair to chair, trying to get to the front of the room, escorting everyone out. The room is still packed. We have not been evacuated yet. We were told that the program is expected to resume soon. And last we heard, the president was still here inside the Washington
This is a
Hilton.
package for my
following
sister. Let's
this
see if she
very
gets a hit.
concerning incident.
Okay, after this concerning incident, the president is okay.
Oh, what we do
Oh,
know
you got some here,
the
cousin.
president is still in the room, in the hotel, and that he was escorted out by the Secret Service.
Continue to follow developments on the story. I'm Allison Cossack in New York. We'll be back with more.
Dog, this is wild. What the fuck happened?
This has been a special
Gotta
report
go to live
from
one.
ABC News.
Hopefully nobody got shot. This shit says live.
But we now do have some video of the moment where the president was rushed off the stage. Let us watch that now.
Wild. Look at these motherfuckers down floors right there. That's crazy. This is wild, dude. Hit that like and subscribe, guys. I appreciate you being here. Fucking crazy. Fucking crazy. Shots fired.
As we're watching this as well, we just said Erica
20
Kirk
people in
is
here. That's
this
what's up.
room.
Hit that like and subscribe,
She was in
guys.
this room,
There are
as
reports.
well.
There are reports that
This
she
is
was
scary.
seen crying as she was leaving the room as well. People who did see her there made that note. Obviously,
Because the whole world's going fucking crazy right now.
We have Caitlin Collins on the line for some more insight. Caitlin Collins, we're listening. What's happening?
Oh, thanks for that. I appreciate it. Hit double tap that screen, guys. I love you guys.
Obviously, I mean, this is a total state of chaos right now in the ballroom, and we're seated maybe 50 feet from the stage where the president is up there and the First Lady Melania Trump.
Where's my smoke?
Here for now. Security is telling us that everything's okay. The shooter, there was a shooter.
Is there a shooter? Did they confirm?
What
Did they confirm?
happened?
You're trying to identify it now.
Where was the shooter?
There was. Yo, they confirmed. There was a
In the
shooter.
lobby?
In the lobby. Well, wild.
All
Wild.
right, control. All right, guys. I just want you to know, this is not verified. We're just listening listening to
Dude,
what's
that's
happening
fucking
right
scary.
now. But we have security around us, and it's Secret Service because there's a lot of members of the administration here. The Secretary of Education is seated right next to me, and her security just has confirmed that there was a shooter in the lobby. It's not clear where, obviously it's a very big hotel, in the lobby of the Hilton. They said he is confirmed dead.
Who's,
We
they
don't know
shot the
anything more
motherfucker?
than that, but I can tell you, we have just
Oh,
sat
the
down to
guy,
dinner.
probably.
The president, the first lady,
They
Caroline
done
Levitt,
killed
were
this
all on
motherfucker
stage,
quick.
including the Vice President, J.D. Vance. So obviously a lot of security here, and, you know, at the beginning of the dinner, everyone's just kind of seated, having their meal, and within moments, armed Secret Service is running in
No, some more
with
Uzi. If
massive
you didn't lie.
guns, and, I mean, maybe
Shut up.
dozens, and silence just went over the room as they ran in. Everyone ducked, got on the floor, people were underneath tables, no one knew what was going on, and for a second,
Oh, you got
the
more?
president actually was not evacuated off stage. I looked, he was sitting still right there, as Secret Service was coming in down
That's
the
wild.
hallway, and so, we didn't know at first, but then we heard from armed security that they heard
That's
shots
wild.
fired. And now we do have Secret Service telling us, obviously I want to know this is only one Secret Service member, but a member of security is here telling us that there is a shooter who
There
is
is a
confirmed
shooter.
dead.
Confirmed dead,
And now
bro.
we are kind of basically
Confirmed
locked
dead. That's
inside
fucking
while
crazy.
basically they were saying everyone's okay.
That is fucking crazy.
They have not identified the shooter yet, but obviously it shows you this was not some kind of false threat, that obviously something had happened, and they
That's
rushed the
fucking
entire
crazy.
administration off stage.
Sergio
A few
Sparks, let's see
members
if I get in
were
here.
still in the audience, because as you guys know, someone from the administration is kind of seated at each table inside. I'm actually sitting next to Secretary McMahon, the Secretary of Education. And so that was what happened. I mean, I've never seen anything like this in my life.
see me
And I want
walking
you to
around
know
back and
security
forth
very
under
tight getting
fucking,
in. It's Secret Service
reflections
who
of the
warns
TV.
you, you come in through magnetometers into this. And so obviously, there's a ton of security here, given how many top officials here. The House Speaker, Mike Johnson, the top lawmakers who all their own security details are also in the room.
Yo, my camera, there we go. My camera's
But
off.
as we were sitting here, and then moments later, obviously the president was rushed off stage, the vice president was rushed off stage. I saw Secretary Kennedy being rushed off as well, Stephen Miller and his wife, as they were moving quickly. But it's difficult for them to identify where everyone is in this very cramped ballroom as we're all kind of seated right next to each other.
Caitlin, are you hearing anything more in terms of the number of shooters or any shots fired or anything, information about
One shooter dead.
where they were firing into? Was it confined to the lobby or inside of the actual ballroom?
So it's not clear, because obviously it looks like the threat was coming through the stage, and that's where people thought that they heard gunshots. But then we also have reports that people who were seated kind of at the back of the room heard it. I mean, it's hard to judge. I personally did not.
Hey, hit that
I was
double tap that
seated
screen, guys. Hit
maybe
that
50
like.
feet from the main stage, the president, the first lady, and the vice president were. And you have walked upstairs, it's in the basement of the Hilton. The security has
that's
just
crazy.
confirmed to me that the shooter that was here inside the Hilton where the president was, it's confirmed dead, seemed to indicate that this person was in the lobby. But, I mean, I want you guys to know this is all just coming in as we're literally standing here in the room reporting on this as it's happening. And I just to give you insight into this room, obviously it's always a huge gathering of media, but when the president comes, it generates a lot of interest. So there are some of those powerful figures in media, entertainment, news, Washington that are inside this room right now, just to give you a sense of what their security nightmare is like.
Yeah, again, just let's reiterate what Caitlin has just told us and bring people up to speed
Fucking camera.
as to what we know.
Sorry
This
about
is the
that,
White
guys.
House Correspondents' Dinner.
Hit that like
was
and
the
subscribe,
White House
guys.
Correspondents' Dinner at the
Fucking love you.
Washington
Thanks for being
Post.
here, guys.
About 8 minutes ago.
This shit is
10
wild.
minutes ago, people heard things and the room was cleared out very quickly. The president,
Very
the
quickly.
vice
That shit
president,
was
the
fast.
entire dais. Most of the cabinet is there as well, taken out of the room. Caitlin, who is in there, Caitlin Collins, is reporting she is hearing from a security official
You said what?
that there were shots fired, perhaps in the lobby, by someone who is
That's
now
crazy as fuck, dude.
dead.
Tell them over, they
Now,
killed
we
him, by the
don't
way.
have any information this person got in the room or near the president or any official, but there does appear to have been shots fired outside. You can see officials right now sweeping the area, going
That's
through.
crazy.
And we have no information about who the individual might
Do you
be,
want these?
or anything like that. I will say, as Caitlin was saying, this is one of the most secure rooms on earth tonight. You have the president, the vice president, or did, much of the entire cabinet there,
Can
prominent
you check on the
media
YouTube if he's
figures
doing a live
as
stream
well.
anywhere?
It takes a long
Can you
time
check
to
if
get
he's
in
doing a live
if
stream
everyone
anywhere?
is thoroughly screened. So questions will be asked about.
They said he was
how
gonna be
someone
talking
even
live. I don't
got
think this
to the
video is
lobby.
live.
Let's go to Brian Selter and
No,
Mike
this video's not
Raju
live.
now, who are there for the latest on what you were hearing, gentlemen.
And this information, John, that you've been reporting is news to most of the people in the ballroom. Most folks in the ballroom do not yet know anything about shots being fired. What did you think?
Yeah, I only saw when I
Hello,
was
Calvin.
sitting at the table, I saw President Trump being pushed down by his security detail and then being rushed out. And later seeing both Vice President, the cabinet, also members of Congress also being rushed out by the security detail.
Yeah, and now-
Other than that, nothing else.
Looking around, wondering what happened because people inside do not know. I apologize, I'm literally holding up a cell phone camera in order to show you this, but it's better than nothing in a moment like this. And I do think that, I don't want to overstate this, but there are some folks pretty shook up
Yeah.
in the room here. You had folks who looked like they got hurt when they were falling to the ground. You know, I don't want to overstate that, but this was a pretty sudden, shocking interruption in this room.
Yeah, no question about it, because it's unmistakable. It sounded like gunshots that we heard from not inside the room, but nearby.
Oh, yeah.
And that was enough to cause so many people to immediately,
Go for it.
they know what they heard, like jump to the ground.
Go for it, bro. I'm gonna be live for like the
protect
next hour,
themselves.
however the
And
fuck long this is gonna be on.
I saw what the security reacted.
It's good watch hours for
very,
me.
very seriously.
Thanks for being here, three of you. Hit that like and subscribe, double tap screen. I love you guys.
It is stunning to think about where we
I don't know
are
what the
right
fuck
now.
happened,
This evening that
Are
began
you
as
talking
a
on that live
question
one?
of why
Is she talking?
now? Why is the President of the United States
I'm gonna go to
speaking
that one.
and attending
I'm gonna go to
what
that
is his first White House Correspondents' Dinner as the President of the United States?
There's only
He
one
is
person.
attending
Oh, it's
many
not
of his cabinet members there. His obviously next in line, the
What'd you type me, just live?
I just sent him the president live.
Damn, that's fucking crazy.
Dan, it's the third assassination attempt on him if they wanted to get him.
I don't know if they were trying to get him. I think they were trying to shoot up the place. Which is fucking wild in and of itself. What the fuck is it?
Somebody put some money on the president. I wonder what we could do. Hey, you wanna break this down for me?
What is that? It's already broken down, bro.
No.
Can you stop bothering me and ask me questions, please, for the love of God?
Okay. It's
Any other year, people were just staying in the hotel. So yes, there were many layers of security. There's caution tape actually going on up to my right. They're still trying to cordon off this area that we're standing in. Just to paint a picture a little bit, I don't think we can move the camera too much, just given our circumstance here. These are police vehicles. They want to keep the street clear. The noise you heard earlier was because too many people were crowding in the street, and they needed to keep this area clear. The hotel, though, it's close, but it is across the street, all the way to my right. And again, you see just how big this area still is that is cordoned off. So clearly this is still an active scene. Nobody is really permitted on these intersections, and they weren't. A lot of this was closed off before the dinner began to limit traffic to this area. But this is still an extremely active scene in the sense that law enforcement is still trying to figure out what is going on. And as Janine Pirro, the U.S. Attorney for D.C., posted from inside the dinner, the mayor was on her way here, different members of law enforcement were on their way here to try and figure out and answer the question that you've been asking, Jessica, which is how did this person or persons get through these layers of security, get through...
Hey, what's up? Welcome in, guys. Hit that like and subscribe, guys. I appreciate it.
As Ryan said, I showed mine.
Trying to figure out what the fuck happened. So far, they killed the motherfucker that was shooting.
At one point as well. So
we know
there
that.
was a lot of security to get into this dinner, but still, things like this happen. But now we're hearing from some of those lawmakers, some of those principals that were in the room, members of the administration that were taken out, who are now just thanking Secret Service for this swift response.
Julie, I love the spirit of wanting the show to go on and wanting the dinner to continue. But when you talk about security, it just seems like security aside and having to ensure that everything and everyone is safe aside, it seems like an impossibility to have gotten everyone who had evacuated back inside with those proper security screenings once again. Can you take us through the mood outside the hotel? I know you just did that a moment ago, but kind of the drastic change in what the mood has been since you were inside and got yourself out to safety, and now just sort of what's happening outside.
That's how close they got.
Is in its very early
They
stages.
shot him in the fucking ear.
Yeah, I mentioned this earlier. As journalists, and there are many still out here, you want to capture what is happening, you want to capture what is happening around you, but this was also a situation that was happening to you. And I think so many people have gotten used to this feeling of having to prepare for the worst, but in that moment again, you were really split between trying to see who was taken out, trying to make sure, as you heard Ryan mention, the Secret Service and the officers jumping over the tables. I was under one of those tables, and I heard that, and I didn't know if that was a shooter, if that was Secret Service, that was officer, I didn't know what was going on. And my colleague
I bet I'd be scared as fuck, dude. Get the fuck out of here, man.
All the lawmakers being ushered out, and I saw that happen. I would say in terms of the mood, there are some people who just live in this neighborhood, near this street. This is a neighborhood in the heart of DC. It is very safe. It is very quiet in some of these streets. This is very residential for those watching who don't live here or live around here. But again, this is a major meeting point. This hotel has one of the largest ballrooms. I mentioned earlier, there are many ballrooms within this hotel. There are many events held here with lawmakers. The president has been here before. He's held events here. So this is a meeting place that is used to holding high capacity events. They are used to having to juggle multiple balls, for lack of a better term, because they have so many guests staying here all the time. And they have so many events happening as well. So there are
before this motherfucker starts talking, I want to hear this motherfucker talk live.
Questions about how this individual got in here, where they were from, who was their target, their motive. We don't know that yet. And as you pointed out, of course, I just think this is a situation where everyone is heightened. And certainly the people around the president are heightened, including his Secret Service team. And again, just a lot of action still around here.
And
These streets are
camera.
closed.
You cooked out here with the camera too. There it is. Piece of shit. Sorry about that, guys. Double tap that screen, like and subscribe, guys. I love you guys. Thanks for being here.
Different outlets, and as I was walking out, there were different media trying to ask me what happened inside. Those who didn't attend the dinner. But I would say in terms of the mood, the president said he's going to do it again, and of course that spirit is shared, like I mentioned earlier, on both sides of the aisle. I've heard it from both sides of the aisle walking out. I think it's because this is a city, like many cities and towns, that have gotten used to these kind of situations.
I'll show you in 1 second.
As you hear right now, the officer there directing traffic, people who are either going to the hotel, because remember, there are multiple hotels where I'm standing. That is a hotel right across the street. You see it there, a little corner of it. But the officers are really trying to direct people away from this area if they do not absolutely need to be here, because this is still very much an active situation. Jessica?
Julie, thank you so much. Great reporting. Glad you and the rest of our correspondents are safe. Let's go now to NBC Nightly News anchor Tom Yamas, who will now take over our coverage. Tom.
Jessica, thank you so much for that. We appreciate it. Tom Yamas,
thanks for hanging out
tonight from Washington, here in the nation's capital. I just left the Washington Hilton, where this entire...
What the fuck is that? What just happened? Let's just turn up as long as it can go. Damn.
Seated tonight, and we started to, talk to one another, and we were eating our salad and looking forward to the president. Beautiful Melania Trump, the first lady, walked out with the president. J.D. Vance was there, our vice president, every secretary of every major, agency in the government
that's why I was pulling up from
was there. And all of a sudden, some loud bangs were heard. I didn't recognize them as gunfire, but everybody hit the ground. We all hit the ground. I was sitting next to Chris Ruddy, and he said that was gunfire. And I looked up, and I'm just about to post this on my social media, and there were special forces, the Secret Service, I'm not sure from which branch of the military, literally run tabletop to tabletop with massive weapons and clearing out the room. I saw Bobby Kennedy being rushed out. President Biden was already rushed out. Vice President was rushed out. And there were incredible amounts of Secret Service military that were taking charge of the room. I don't know if they captured whoever was the instigator.
They have.
That's great news.
There were reports that an officer was shot in a bullet-resistant vest. He's expected to be okay, Carrie. But the shooter,
Well,
that's
that's
the
heartbreaking.
video of it.
His voice out of his nose on
Shooter is in custody.
on the chalkboard.
I will tell you, I'm sorry, but guys, I walked out, and I walked out.
Oh, ain't nobody in here.
As please, I'm sorry, he's a
Are we
fool.
over this? What are you doing?
Walking out next to Jake Tapper, and I looked at him and I said, how dare you? You have caused so much division in this country, pushing lies. I said, we're not going to call it gaslighting anymore. You've lied to the people. How dare you do that? And I saw so many people from all of these news outlets who've just spread abject lies about President Trump over the years. They're part to blame of this, and I don't mean to get dramatic tonight. But I, as an American mother and an American, I'm tired of it. And I'm tired of the fake news that has just spread nothing but lies, trying to hurt this president, trying to go against the American people.
All right, shut the fuck up.
I couldn't sit there silent and walk out next to somebody like a Jake Tapper and act like he's a good guy.
Yeah.
These
Well,
people-
how the media, Carrie, to your point, handles this story, and whether they tell the truth about the threats to this president and the dangerous rhetoric and all that. Your quick final thought, because we're getting closer to the president coming out.
Well, I hope the president delivers what he was going to deliver tonight, which is probably going to be sharp, poignant, and funny.
Yeah.
And,
Probably not.
I don't know who was in charge of security tonight. I felt it was lax. I was very concerned walking in. I thought this is very lax. I've been to a million of these events with the president. Never seen it this lax, especially considering the group that we were in.
Damn.
And I think the media from CNN, who I sat and talked to, and I don't play around. I don't act like I like people when I'm in public with them because I'm sitting next to them and we're at an event that's a party. I told the people at CNN, you guys have been derelict in your duties to the American people.
Isn't fucking CNN run by you guys,
As
huh?
a journalist, you have a duty
Dumbass.
to tell the truth, and I'm glad that Newsmax is doing that. I look forward to seeing with the president. I'm 2 blocks from the event, waiting for my ride to pick me up. We never had our dinner. We never had the enjoyment of hearing the president speak, but we know that we support him.
Yep.
And
we're
we're
glad
tired
he's
of the
safe.
lies.
Yep. And we're glad he's safe. Carrie, we're glad you're safe as well. Thank you, Carrie. We'll keep
Nobody
this
in here.
rolling. By the way, the president's political team just put out a text that a friend shared saying, I'm addressing the nation at this hour on a matter of great importance. Tune in live. God
There's one
bless you
person
and
gonna do
God
it.
bless the United States of America.
Do it.
Now, if he's just alerting people, to the idea that, hey, I'm addressing this
Do it.
situation, I want you to know that's one thing. But he says, I'm addressing the nation on a matter of
Hit
great
that like so
importance.
you can get
I
a hit.
don't know if that
Ah,
suggests
yeah.
that law enforcement has gotten a piece of information about who's behind this or not. I'm not going to speculate. I know we're not going to, but why the president's team put that out to say, hey, this is a matter of great importance. It might just be the threat to the nation. It might be about the threat to the president that is ongoing, but it's interesting.
I know a lot of people were hoping to hear from the president in the more jubilant way his speech would be if he was inside the Hilton tonight, but we will be hearing from the president, and we will be hearing from him.
Okay,
at the
we
White
have
House
video
podium.
now of Erica Kirk being evacuated, I believe.
There she is.
That bitch.
I mentioned
I'll
that
move
a
that
moment
out of the
ago. Her husband was just assassinated only a few months ago, in September. I think we're trying to
I hate
watch that
that.
video.
And she was unable to go to one of her own turning point
There it
events.
is. Okay.
I'm done. Hey.
So she was being taken out, obviously, with some friends and colleagues. Make sure she was
What?
safe. Don't want to dramatize it, but it was only a few months ago that,
I can't hear
and
you,
you can
bud.
see she looks upset. It was only a few months ago that her husband was gunned down on that college campus. Let's get more information
This is
now.
wild. They got one person
We
here.
hear from the president.
Hey, it's Murr.
Scott
What's up,
Duffy.
Murr?
He's a retired FBI
Yeah, he was
supervisor,
shooting. They
special
killed the
agent,
shooter.
And Scott is kind enough to join
They
us.
killed
We
him.
see some
Trump is about to
reporters in
address the
briefing
country
room
right now.
in gowns,
Address the
in
country.
black tie, as well. Scott, give me one quick point here
This is fucking
about
crazy.
what you know about this situation, what you've seen before we hear from the president, real quick.
Yeah, hearing exactly
It's
what,
me.
Carrie
Yeah, I know
Lake
it's
was
you.
talking
Hey, what are you
about
looking
and
at?
so forth.
Fucking
The
white-haired
shooter
ass
set the shooter
motherfucker.
outside the venue, right at the security checkpoint, and I can imagine when you have both the president, the vice president, as well as cabinet members.
Thanks, Mom. I love
that
you.
you have an extremely stepped up security measure.
There's reports that the FBI interviewing guests as they left the ballroom. I want to bring in now the CEO of Newsmax, Chris Ruddy, who was in the room.
Hey there.
Hi, Chris. We're glad you're able to join us. Talk to us about the table full of dignitaries. You're there with members
What
of
an
our team.
amazing night, yeah.
What an amazing night.
We're in the middle of a war. A lot of things were happening. We were hosting a dinner. Greta was there, Rob Schmidt, we had Franklin Graham, the British ambassador. And we were seated in the middle of the Correspondents' dinner, very much close to the center aisle. And everybody heard gunshots.
Thank you.
or
Love you.
Explosions of some sort. And we could see people were starting to take cover. We all went under the table. And it was a harrowing moment for a bit. You know, the president rushed off the stage, we saw that. There were various, I saw Robert Kennedy, for instance, was in the audience. The Secret Service grabbed him, a number of the Trump cabinet that were in the audience grabbed them and removed them. And we didn't have a lot of direction on what's going on. We knew that there was gunshots. We knew then we heard somebody had been shot.
Yeah, so Chris, what do you expect? This is a moment now for the president. We've got a live look at the podium in the White House briefing room.
Oh, nice to watch all
stayed behind the scenes here in a holding room for about an hour before heading back to the White House. There was some consideration that the event would go forward, but law enforcement suggested he leave, and he did with the First Lady. What do you anticipate from him? I mean, this is obviously a moment, as you mentioned, we're at war. This president's under threat.
Are you high?
Number one rule in any of these type of things, is it a lone gunman or is there a larger group involved?
We are. Don't worry, it's all private.
I didn't know that they kept them in the holding room, but it makes sense, right? Because they're afraid they did this shooting and then if somebody's going to be waiting for him as he's exiting the building.
Yeah, it's
right?
crazy.
So that's what they were.
Why?
That there was more people involved, and it was clear to us they were keeping us all. We were in the room, everybody's standing up, nobody knows what's going on. We did hear somebody was shot. And that the president was even thinking of coming back, wanted to come back and continue the dinner.
Of course he
and then
did.
Apparently the Secret Service somewhat overruled him and said, this is not a very good idea. That might be
Of course he wanted to come back with a dumbass.
Secure location. So the dinner has ended. We are out on the street here walking to our
evacuate my
car
face.
so we can exit as well. But it has created a lot of mayhem and you know, the big thing is the president safe, cabinet safe, and the government, nobody else. Additionally, the Secret Service needs to have acted very promptly in dealing with the threat and terminating the threat.
Chris, I want to add one thing. Carol Markowitz from the New York Post is among those reporting now that their initial reports are the attempted shooter at this dinner is 31-year-old Thomas Allen from Torrance, California, and that he is the gentleman in custody that we've seen video of, Chris. And there are other online, and these are initial reports, so we want to be careful and not speculate. Initial reports suggesting that he's an educator in Torrance, California. And obviously there's been a lot of online hate directed at this president. I'll leave it at that for now. Presumably the president's been briefed on these details, Chris. But this shooter is alive right now, so they're going to be able to question him. In other situations like Butler, the shooter was killed, and we didn't get more information. Your thoughts?
$1.
That's not a dollar.
Look, I don't know like who the person is involved. I wasn't going to reserve comments to be here, but obviously there's a lot of hate online. The media is propelling a lot of hate. It's crazy. And the Trump derangement system. And we're in the middle of a war. We're actually two wars, right? There's one in Ukraine, there's one in Russia. What was Russia?
Crazy motherfuckers shooting each other all over the world.
Serious threat, serious times. I think everybody should be on high alert.
This motherfucker said curious
I
time?
think they're taking a lot of
Crazy time.
precautions with the president, and this was one of them. Obviously, they moved him out very quickly. I think they sort of did a good job from what I see. But you know, we need to wait before we make more judgments about what was involved.
4 thumbs up.
Right. Absolutely. And Chris, you know,
But we had
people have that
Franklin Graham was there, they're concerned with the British ambassador on our table. But, you know, they're all concerned about the high security risk around the president. Franklin
that I know is very, praying for the president.
Soon, Trump to address shooting at Correspondents. Linden.
You know, there's so many festivities planned this year, Chris, for 250th America. You know, this is a time where there's going to be a lot of events that Americans will want to go to, big crowds. There were some, we spoke to Rob Schmidt a few minutes ago. He felt security wasn't really up to what he thought the level could have been. You know, was there anything you took away with all the dignitaries that were there with you at our table this evening? You're walking in. Did you feel that security was sufficient, or did anything stand out to you?
I don't want to make any judgment about the security around the security. I just don't know enough to say it right now, but I think that they obviously eliminated the threat pretty quickly.
I was running around back and forth. You see that?
There was no gunshots, so I heard at least
No, I'm talking about right now.
2, maybe 3, but
Oh, no, that's a replay.
and they were outside the room. So, like the gunshots fired, not immediate, you hear it differently than you would if you're shot. So,
Yeah. Chris, there's also online right now, Meghan McCain, among others, is saying, I don't want to hear one more bleeping criticism of Trump's new ballroom at the White House, meaning, the president's taking a lot of heat for having private donors put this together, and the president has made the point that the White House ballroom not only will be beautiful, as he says, but it will be secure, and there'll be a bunker under it, and that the threat matrix, Chris, has changed a lot in just the last few years.
well, I don't know, Megan, what she's putting out, but I think it's premature to make any comment about the ballroom. I'm not sure how that has to do with this. The president could be anywhere and have a security threat.
It looks like somebody's handcuffed.
Ameliorate that situation.
They handcuffed him, they shoot him, what the fuck?
It's a free country, right?
No.
But, the
Looks like they
hate
got somebody
about
handcuffs.
the president, I think, is a problem that's driving a lot of this, where people are actually taking violent means. We're coming up to a very significant election, we have a war going on, and so, it's something we've all gotta, pull together on,
And
that
Chris,
we're not gonna accept this.
as someone who's known the president for a long time, and we see his resilience, if you will, even on display tonight as we were looking here live. One side is the ballroom, the other side is the podium, where he will emerge, and we will hear him now within just 2 hours of having shots again fired in a room. Obviously, the intent was he was the target. Just talk to us about the person that you've known here, now the leader of the free world, who is going to come out, who is going to speak, and the message he will deliver that will be heard by our adversaries as well, those who do want to.
Hi, motherfucker.
The president, he knows that it was a high risk when he ran for president. And
Can you get in
he
there
had threats. He had the celebrity before that, he had certain threats, but it's escalated.
Is that you? No.
And I think it's a sacrifice he is now being made
How
for
many?
the good of the country.
Nobody, 4.
And they're willing to
likes
accept it, but they want to be secure, it's like anybody would. I think the Secret Service, in this case, Butler was a bit of a disaster, I think.
I just seen you do the cards right now.
But it looks like they acted promptly. We'll wait to hear what the details
I
are
just seen you do
involved.
the cards. Look, you're halfway through.
Chris, there's one new detail. The president has just put on Truth Social, presumably he'll talk about it.
There's one
And here
person.
he
I hate that, like
video
and subscribe,
of the
one
shooter
person.
running past Secret Service and getting shot. So here's the president, let's listen to it.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, here we go,
It was very unexpected, but incredibly acted upon by Secret Service and law enforcement. And
Is it 4 or just you?
this was an event dedicated
Is it for
to freedom of speech
Is it 4 or
that
just
was
you?
supposed to bring together the members of both parties with members of the press. And in a certain way it did, because the
Look at Cash Patel's fucking tweaking ass.
They just unified
Tweaking
us in a
ass.
room that was just totally unified. It was in one way very beautiful, a very beautiful thing to see a man charge a security checkpoint armed with multiple weapons. And he was taken down by some very brave members of Secret Service, and they acted very quickly and have just released, for purposes of transparency, clarity, I've ordered it to be put out. You probably have it by now, put out on Truth and put out on many of the platforms. A tape showing the violence of this thug that attacked our Constitution, and also showing how quickly Secret Service and law enforcement acted on our country's behalf. Really did a great job. One officer was shot, but saved by the fact that He was wearing obviously a very good bulletproof vest. He was shot from very close distance with a very powerful gun. And the vest did the job. I just spoke to the officer and he's doing great. He's great shape.
I love him.
He is,
He's doing great shape.
has very high spirits, and we told him we love him and respect him. And he's a very proud guy. He's very proud of what he does, Secret Service agent. And we looked at all of the conditions that took place tonight, and I will say, you know,
Yo, Cash looks like you want to smile, bro.
particularly secure.
You like you about burst.
And
Crackhead looking ass crackhead.
I didn't want to say this, but this is why we have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room, and it's a much more secure. It's got drone-proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding.
They're all dumb as fuck to me.
They've wanted the ballroom for 150 years for lots of different reasons.
Yo, why is she
but
talking about the
today's,
ballroom?
A little bit different because today we need levels of security that probably nobody's ever seen before. But everyone owes a tremendous debt of gratitude to the courage of law enforcement, the law enforcement, and working with the DC police and just
Pussy neck motherfucker.
And when we're finished, the
Security did
police
pretty good
chief
that night.
is going to
Tonight.
take over and discuss it also from their viewpoint. But they also performed exactly as they were supposed to, and you see the attacker in different positions, but you also see the attacker totally subdued and under control. So as you know, this is not the first time in the past couple of years that a republic has been attacked by a would-be assassin who sought to kill. In Butler, Pennsylvania, less than 2 years ago, you all know that story, and in Palm Beach, Florida, a few months after that, we came close. We really had, again, we had some great work done by law enforcement.
He's like 100 years
But in
old.
light of this evening's events, I asked that all Americans,
Right?
with their hearts,
Yo, am I right?
resolving our difference peacefully.
It's just a-
We have
it's
to-
just-
It's puss neck,
we
bro.
have to resolve our differences. I will say, you have
Look.
Republicans, Democrats, Independents,
Right?
liberals, and progressives.
Stick a dick in
Those
you.
words are interchangeable perhaps, but maybe they're not. But yet everybody in that room, big crowd, record-setting crowd. There was a record-setting group of people. And there was a tremendous amount of love and coming together. I watched, and I was very, very impressed by that.
20 more
But
minutes
we
in your
were,
last life.
First Lady and I were taken
21.
very
So
well
that's a
care,
weird
very
looking
quickly,
motherfucker.
very quickly
That's an
rushed
ugly
off
looking
the
motherfucker.
stage. And Vice President J.D. Vance was
He
here,
was
was
always ugly as
likewise
fuck.
beautifully done. He was just saying how
that's a beautiful
quickly
picture of him.
everybody acted, law enforcement, Secret Service in particular in this case,
You
but
didn't
law
even try it at
enforcement,
all?
Mark,
No,
like the
this is a
same
beautiful
thing.
picture of him.
Pete was
But
there,
every,
Pete didn't want any
yeah, I
help,
think
he
yes.
didn't want
I
anybody
think,
to
watch,
help.
I'm gonna type it in.
He doesn't want anybody to help him, but he did get something new. And I think you also said that it was
Oh, is that the
very
motherfucker
impressive.
right there?
So with that, I'd like to ask Todd Blanche
I thought he
to
was shot this morning.
come up and say a few words and tell you it's already underway. The man has been captured. They go into his apartment. I guess he lives in California, and he's a sick person, a very sick person. And we don't want things like this to happen. I think it's very important that I say, though, and I told the representatives of the evening, and they did such a beautiful job with such a beautiful evening. And again, they're talking about free speech in our Constitution. That's what it's all about, not just White House correspondence. It was really based on free speech in our Constitution. But I said very importantly that we'll do it again within the next 30 days, and we'll make it bigger and better and even nicer. So I just want to thank everybody that was involved. I also want to thank the press, the media. You've been very responsible in your coverage. I will say I've been seeing what's been out. You've been very responsible. So Todd Blanche, I'd like to say a few words, and then we're going to have Cash. And then you're going to go on. We can ask, I guess we can take a couple of questions. I want to thank the First Lady for it was a rather traumatic experience for her. There was a lot of action taking place up there very quickly. But again, the response time was really incredible. And we're going to reschedule, we're gonna do it again. We're not gonna let anybody take over our society, we're not gonna cancel things out, because we can't do that. We wanted to stay tonight, I will tell you, I fought like hell to stay. But it was protocol, they said, please, sir, because they didn't know there was a lot of action going on, and they didn't know could there be probably a lone shooter, but we'll find out very quickly. They have it very well under control. So I want to thank everybody very much, and Todd Blanche, please.
I hate this motherfucking vampire right here.
Tonight you saw the very worst and the very best of this country.
Dude, you ought to be smacking your motherfucking mouth, you fucking faggot.
But you also saw the very best because you saw law enforcement do exactly what they're supposed to do. And
now!
videos come out, I expect very shortly.
So why are kids getting fucking killed to now?
And so I echo what President Trump just said, that we are extraordinarily grateful and appreciative of the men and women of law enforcement that did their jobs tonight, including one who was injured. This investigation is ongoing. I expect you will see charges filed shortly. The charges should be self-evident, given the conduct, but as you'll hear, there will be multiple charges surrounding the shooting, around the possession of firearms, and anything else that we can get on this guy. The investigation is obviously ongoing and just started. There is federal law enforcement already working on search warrants and doing their job, and I don't want to get ahead of them and don't want to get ahead of the work that they're doing even as we speak. Director Patel and I were just on the crime scene a short while ago, and everybody in this room should rest assured that the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI, Secret Service, everybody's on the scene doing their job. I know that the police chief is going to give an update from the scene as soon as we're finished here, and I obviously will lead the details of what they have learned to him. But in the meantime, I just want to thank everybody in this room for the courage. And I want to thank President Trump for his words, and I promise you, justice will be served. Thank you, Dr. Patel.
The very best unite us at a time of uncertainty, because we have leadership here with the president, the vice president that backs law enforcement, and the men and women that I shook their hands on the scene today could not have been prouder to show up on scene. And as the Attorney General said, make no mistake, we are conducting witness interviews. If you have any information whatsoever related to this event, 1-800-CALL-FBI. 1-800-CALL-FBI. No piece of information is too small. No piece of information is inadequate. We will evaluate it all. We will also
stupid ass face is too small, bro.
That were there. And if any of those individuals have information, please come forward to law enforcement of the FBI or the Metropolitan Police Department.
Tweaking ass method.
Examining this individual's background thoroughly. That process has already started. And we're going to ensure that he was either a lone wolf actor or anyone else that was responsible. We will analyze all evidence immediately to make sure that we save.
I thought they shot him. Why is this motherfucker in handcuffs?
Thank you for your leadership, Attorney General, Homeland Secretary.
Fake news.
Thank you for your partnership in law enforcement.
Who the fuck knows what's going on?
Okay, we'll do a couple and then
Hey, what's the next match?
Madam Chairman, I just want to say you did a fantastic job. What a beautiful evening, and we're going to reschedule. It's very tough for her to ask a killer question, but you have done a fantastic job. Please.
I appreciate it. As you mentioned, it all happened so quickly, and I wonder, especially because unfortunately you have experience with these sorts of threats, in that moment when you realized there was a threat and service agents were telling us to get down, can you describe what was going through your mind, how you were feeling in that moment?
That's a very good question. Actually, it was totally shocking when something like this happens. It's happened to me a little bit, and
happened to me.
That never changes. The fact we're sitting right next to each other, First Lady, am I right? And I heard a noise, and sort of thought it was a tray. I thought it was a tray going down. I've heard that many times, and it was a pretty loud noise. And it was from quite far away. He hadn't reached the area at all. They really got him. But, so it was quite far away, but it was a gun. And
so they kill him or did they arrest him? What the fuck's happening?
Really understood that pretty quickly. Other people didn't. I was watching to see what was happening. Probably should have gone down even faster.
At first they said they
was
shot this
very cognizant, I
motherfucker,
think, of what happened. I think she knew
confirmed
everything what
dead.
happened, she was saying.
Now they're showing
Bad
pictures of him in
noise.
handcuffs
And,
on the ground.
we were whisked away along with.
I don't know how the
We
fuck
were
did you
really
fuck that
whisked
up
away.
though?
And again, the performance of the
That's a big
Secret
fucking
Service and the
difference
police.
between confirmed dead and fucking laying on the
It
ground.
was very quick. There was a lot of time to be thinking, because it was a matter of seconds before we were out the door and gone into an area. We very much, and you wanted to too, we very much wanted to continue it, because I don't like to let these sick people, these thugs, these horrible, horrible people, change the fabric of our life, change the course of what we do.
All these motherfuckers standing
So we
behind him
held
were the
out.
motherfuckers who
We held
never
that right till
Trumpers.
the end, but they
The
didn't
same
want to take a
motherfuckers
chance,
who
and
are
I
standing behind him right now were like, fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. They were fucking chanting it. And then he motherfucking hires all of them. What the fuck happened? I don't think it's YouTube. Nope, it's not YouTube.
People, Abraham Lincoln, I mean, you go through the people that have gone through this where they got them. But the people that do the most, the people that make the biggest impact, they're the ones that they go after. They don't go after the ones that don't do much because they like it that way. And when you look at the people that have either, whether it was an attempt or a successful attempt, they're very impactful people. Just take a look at the names there. The big names. And,
Yeah, a lot of people don't fucking like you right now, man.
I've done a lot. We've done a lot. We've taken this country and we were a laughing
And you
stock,
have flipped it upside down, you
now we're the
piece of
hottest
shit.
country anywhere in the world. We've changed this country. And there are a lot of people
She
that
said,
are
come in and
happy
start
about
being.
that. So I think that's the answer, Peter.
I will, mama.
For a while, rethought outdoor events.
Yeah.
Do you think that you now need to rethink
No,
indoor?
well, but then you just don't move events. No, I can't do that. I have to, it is what it is. We have to do it. The room was very, very secure. You know, he charged from 50 yards away, so he was very far away from the room.
And what do you think when you saw the video of how fast he was running?
He was moving.
If you're still in there, I'm gonna get off in 10 minutes
And the reaction time was great. Boy, those guys.
to make a full hour on this.
Literally, by the time he was there, they were shooting.
What time is it?
I thought they were very impressive. I thought they were
That
very
didn't help me at
impressive.
all.
And if I
fucking
didn't, I'd
idiot.
let you know, you know. I'm not gonna.
Could have said Tonto.
I would not stand for that. No, I thought they were very impressive.
Actually, what time was it?
Thank you for updating us on this aspect earlier. Were you aware of any threats, were you aware of any threats beforehand? And do you believe you were the target of this tonight?
I guess, I mean, these
Sorry, I'll do
people,
better.
they're crazy. They're crazy, and you know, you never know. He was very far away from me. He had to go through a lot. You know, we had resources all over. We had resources sitting at tables, literally in disguise.
Do you know whose
sitting-
voice that is?
Maybe at your table, who knows? But
Huh?
Can you guess
we
who
had
this is?
people all over the room, so he had a long way to go. That was really a first line of defense, and they
I
got
don't
him.
know.
Michael
And they
Jackson.
really, you know, they acted incredibly. No, we've had no, there was no notification, we had no idea. Go ahead.
Who's that?
I don't know.
Well, you never know. Now, we'll be able to tell you that maybe by tomorrow or the next day, you know, he's in custody and.
Is Taylor coming over?
Asking him a lot of questions. I guess they're going over
He's
to
coming
and
over?
they're already at his apartment. He lives in California. And they're over there, so they'll be able to tell you. Thank you, Caleb.
Did the suspect say anything?
Send them the lives. So they can get
Was he
to me.
wearing anything that would
Is that word?
allege him?
Huh?
I mean, he was
So what?
a guy who
It's closing up right
was
now.
very evil when he was down. You know, they had him down. He was fighting hard. He was in my opinion, a sick person. Who would do that but a sick person? But I think you're going to find everything about him. No reason to talk about it now. But tomorrow at this time, long before this time, you're going to know a lot of things about him. They seem to think he was a lone wolf, and I feel that too.
Are you concerned about U.S. Secret Service protection ability? We saw several of the detailees take minutes to be escorted out of the room.
No, they acted very quickly. And I was very impressed by Secret Service. I mean, I'm the one, and Mark, when you would agree with that, I think, I'm the one that would complain. You don't have to complain for me. I would be complaining. I'd be up here right now saying they didn't do their job. Oh, believe me, because, you know, it's my life. And I want to live because I want to make this country great. That's why I want to live. But when you're impactful, they go after you. When you're not impactful, they leave you alone. Okay, a couple of more. Go ahead, please.
Is there any indication that this shooting could have been linked to the war in Iran?
I don't think so. But you never know.
This would have been way better if there was no
We
shooting.
have the best people in the world
This
working
would have
on
been
it.
way better if there was no
We're
shooting.
going to know a lot, please.
Those are good jokes. These retarded motherfuckers.
You, as well as some of us who have covered Butler, experienced another horrific day 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What felt similar? You know, you had the First Lady with you today. What felt different? And you have another 2+ years in office. Are you concerned about something like this happening?
Well, I can't be concerned. I can only get great people. They did the job, in my opinion, a much better job than Butler. Butler had one weak spot that we all know about. Somebody should have been up there. But even Butler, we had our sniper on our side within 4.2 seconds from a distance of about 400 yards. One shot, and he was gone. And if he didn't know, you know, he's David. His name was David. I say, hello, David, every time I see him. David, I like you very much, David. But think of that. Now, if he doesn't hit him, and he hit him right between the eyes from 400 yards without any notice, nobody knew. He heard a sound. He looked over, and there was actually a tree that was somewhat in his way. You know the story very well. And he aimed, he fired, and if he didn't do that, beyond me, he would have had a lot more people killed. We lost one great person and 2 people very badly hurt. They're okay now. But no, that was, so in a sense, you know, it was pretty amazing the job they did. But they did have that one weak spot. As you know, they should have had that covered. Tonight they had everything covered very quickly. And he was fast. He was running full blast, and they got him before they got any further. I was very far away. You know, he hadn't anywhere close to breach the doors of the ballroom. The ballroom was sealed, and everybody in there. That's why once those doors opened, they didn't want to do tonight. If the doors weren't opened, we could have probably done it tonight, but I think we're much better off rescheduling. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, for you and perhaps law enforcement as well, what is the level of confidence that this was a lone actor, and has the suspect made any statements to police while in custody?
Yeah, I think that's just look, that's not my profession. We have great professionals up here and outside that have been working with us. My impression is he was a lone wolf, whack job. These are crazy people. And they have to be dealt with. We had that in the second attempt, as you know. He's spending life in prison. Because if you let him out, they'll probably, you know, if he serves 10 years or 15 years, you let him out, he'll probably try it again with somebody else. They're sick people. We have a lot of sick people. But you're going to know, I think very shortly, you're going to know, Todd, a lot about him. You're going to know a lot about him. Yeah, a couple of more. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Are you concerned about political violence? These could be politically
All
motivated.
violence. I'm concerned about everything. Look, but I can't be so concerned that you can't function. No, I'm here. It's a dangerous profession. You know, I tell the story, race car drivers, I think it's very dangerous. So you take 1% and then take about 10% of 1%, just to break it down very easily, they die. So much less than 1%, 10% of 1%. I think bull riding is very dangerous. If you take about the same 10% of 1%, much less than 1%, but if you take presidents, it's 5.8%, and about 8% are shot at. So nobody told me this was such a dangerous profession. If Marco would have told me, maybe I wouldn't have run. Maybe I would have said, I'll take a pass. No, it's a dangerous profession, but I don't view it that way. Look, I'm here to do a job. As part of the job, it is a dangerous, I can't imagine that there's any profession that's more dangerous. But I love the country, and I'm very proud. I'm very proud of the job we've done. You see what's happened. We have a great country. We've got, I think, the most successful, the hottest country anywhere in the world. This happened over a period of just a year, and we're going to do great things. But with that come risks. There's no question about it, yeah.
I mean, there's been so much political violence, not just aimed at yourself, but at other members of Congress, state house speakers, you name it. Is that just the cost of doing business to do politics in America anymore?
Yeah, well,
What does that say about our country?
We're not the only country. You look at this great violence with all countries. I was talking to somebody from another country today, and they have numerous assassinations of political figures all over the world. You look at South America, you know, some of the numbers are just horrific. It's dangerous stuff, whether it's here or someplace else. No country is immune. No country. Good question.
At this point?
Well, probably if I decided to just not do much, you know, if I let everybody rip us off and take advantage of us. Look, we're leading the world in trade now. We're leading the world in the military. We're the greatest military in the world. I rebuilt it in my first term, and now we use it because we have no choice. We can't let, as an example, Iran, we can't let them get a nuclear weapon. Everything will be peanuts compared to that if they ever were given a nuclear weapon. And they'd use it too. Marco and I were talking about it today. They would use it without even hesitation. We can't do that. It was a shame. I said, oh boy, look at the numbers. We just broke 50,000 in the Dow. We just broke 7,000 in the S&P. They said we couldn't do it in 7 years, or 5 years, 4 years. They were saying maybe in 5 or 6 years. And we did it in 1 year. And I called everybody together. I called all of these people and others, and I said, we have to take a little journey. I seek to do this. We just had the great number. We just broke 50,000. Wasn't supposed to happen during my term. Wasn't reachable. Did it in 1 year. And I said, we're going to have to make a journey to Iran. They're going to have a nuclear weapon if we don't do it. We had the B-2 bombers take them out. I terminated in the first term the Obama agreement, the Iran nuclear agreement, which was a disaster. That was a road to a nuclear weapon. They would have used it. They would have used it 100%. So, you know, when you do things like that, you become a target. If I wasn't doing that, I guess I'd be a lot less of a target. But I'm honored to be. Okay, one more question. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. Do you know how the gun was brought into the hotel? And also, how does this event impact you as the leader of our country? Do you think it will change?
I like not to think about it. I lead a pretty normal life, considering it's a dangerous life. I think I handle it as well as it can be handled. I think a lot of other people, you know, you read stories.
Yeah, you did, buddy.
Basket cases, to be honest with you. I'm not a basket case. I take
Crazy
this,
person, bro.
really take it as it is. I do it for the country. I'm not doing it for any other reason. I have a first lady who's doing a terrific job. She loves the country, and she recognizes it better than anybody. She's told me numerous times. She said, you are in a dangerous job. But that goes along with her too. I mean, it's dangerous for her too. We sat there tonight, we heard that noise, and it was either a tray or a bullet. I was hoping it was a tray, but it wasn't. And again, we had some very great people doing a great job, so we're very proud of them and happy with them. I just want to thank everybody. They will be able to give you all that information as to the names and everything else. I think we released the names already. Most of you would have it, but his name. We appreciate it. I see so many tuxedos and beautiful dresses. It was a little different evening than we thought, but we're going to do it again, and we have a great chairman who we're so proud of, and we have to make it better. We'll make it safer, I guess, right? But we're going to make it even better. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
How impactful this was. Can you hear from her about?
Well, honey, would you want to say something?
Many of the people across the globe, in fact, are watching you. You demonstrated courageous leadership, and thank God you and I, all of us, are alive today. What is the message that you want to give to the world that this should change? What corrective measures can you take from here on?
Well, all you can do, look, I don't care how many people you have, how good they are. They can be the greatest people. You have the greatest security in history. If you have a whack job who's got a brain, but it's a little bit distorted or a lot distorted, they can make trouble. I would say, Pete, right? You know, they can make trouble. Some of these people are of genius level IQ, and they're nuts, so it could be trouble. So you do absolutely the best, you get the best, we have the best people. Well, look, it was proven tonight, he started running from 50 yards, and he was fast. It was like a blur on tape. He was moving, it was very impressive the way they got him. Because a lot of people would be looking and saying, you know, it's like a weird feeling. They would let him get through, but they didn't let him get through. They drew those guns so fast, they looked like Matt Dillon. They looked like somebody that knew what they were doing, what we would do. But it comes with the territory. And if you want to do a great job, I really believe that. And you take a look at what's happened to some of our greatest presidents, and it doesn't happen to people that don't do anything. And it's not going to deter me from winning the war in Iran.
Dude, you're a crazy
That had
person.
anything to do with it. I really don't think so.
You are a crazy
Based on what
person.
we know. But we're going to continue to do a great job. That's all I can do. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Glad you're okay.
Alright, I think I'm gonna get the fuck off. Oh, one person here. Hit that fucking subscribe. I appreciate you being here. I'll be fucking back soon enough.